Is that recording?
Yeah.
They're both recording.
Not the best lighting today, I'm afraid.
No. The universe does not always agree on which way to point the sun.
Well, it does.
Well, in fact, the universe doesn't point the sun in any direction.
We're just at our mooring in Etruria, and after being here for 3 days on the mooring next to the water point, we still haven't filled our water, so we're just doing it now.
Yeah.
And then we're going to head down the locks towards Stone, but probably just as far as Barleston today.
Yeah, near where the Wedgwood factory is, although I'm pretty sure it's also going to be closed for COVID because things are getting dicey again. Good fun.
So it's been pretty good mooring here. Familiar, but that wasn't a bad thing. I like it. I really like this mooring.
Mm-hmm.
We walk that way to whatever town's that way, and then we walk that way to the big Tesco.
Towards Hanley. But we only made it as far as the Tesco's.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a pleasant walk down the canal and a little bit of a turn to get you to a Sainsbury's and a Lidl.
Yeah.
And a bit of an interesting walk over this way through sort of
like housing estate kind of area.
Yeah, a whole bunch of houses.
With a little pop-up donut shop, which was nice.
Pop-up donut shop, which is actually probably pretty good if you arrived at the right time of day. I think I'd gotten it where they just started getting the donuts cooking, so my donut was like crispy on the outside and dough on the inside.
But you still enjoyed it.
Very much a donut. It does take the idea seriously. Yeah. But it is a beautiful spot, lots of services and stuff. Sadly, the shower is out of action at the moment, so we've not had that advantage.
It's been fairly busy, but not too busy. There's always been moorings. And then, it's quite funny, quite often boaters will all get up and race off at 8 o'clock. Not on this mooring. We're all getting up and racing off at 11 o'clock. So the boat
headed in the same direction.
The boat behind us has just gone, and then there's one on the water point that's going. I think they're waiting for the water, are they?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we better pull our hose out and
move on.
Yeah.
It's nice sitting under the watchful, somewhat stern gaze at Brindley.
He's looking right at me.
He's looking right at both of us. He's just kind of like, he's awful. 48 hours, you've ignored the warning.
We stayed 72, which is a bit naughty.
We've overdone it.
But there's free mooring, so...
Well, and we're on the one nobody wants.
Yeah, we're on a bend.
Because we're right on a massive bend.
I kind of feel like when there's spaces you can be a little bit naughty, but...
Yeah, especially as winter comes in.
Yeah,
but Brindley is giving us a look.
All right, let's get going before he comes and tells us off.
Yeah.
We had ventured onto the first few hundred feet of the Caldon Canal to find our mooring, so now we have the very sharp turn back onto the main line of the Trent Mersey. We really like the Caldon Canal, but we're not cruising it this time. We actually explored it and the Leek branch last year, and I've put a link to those videos in the description below in case you're interested. I've been filling Summit Lock ready for the boat, and it's a pretty deep one at 13 feet, so it's taking a while. That was the first of the 5 locks that will take us down through Stoke-on-Trent. Next to the canal here is the Etruria Industrial Museum. It has limited opening hours and it's closed at the moment anyway, so we've missed it yet again, despite this being our 3rd trip through here. The museum's building was constructed in 1857, and it was originally a bone and flint mill which ground materials for the local pottery industry. If you time your visit better than we did, you can see the only operational steam-powered potter's mill in the world in action. We see a boat approaching in the distance, and as they'll be using a lock, we can leave the gates open for them. That's the last lock of the flight, so Michael picks George and me up. Honestly, it's a little scruffy through this section of Stoke, but it's always nice to see these relics as we pass. In the heyday of the potteries, there was thought to have been at least 4,000 of these bottle kilns, but there's less than 50 still standing today. These types of industrial buildings are a much more common sight these days. The centre of Stoke is behind us now, and the outskirts seem to be made up of industrial estates and a little more greenery. We're heading south towards Hemheath and Trentham. When we arrive at Trentham Lock, we find a boat ready to come up. They've fully opened the gate pedals, even though the boat is way down in the chamber, and so they're ascending fast.
Afternoon. We have made it to not far north of Barleston.
We were aiming for Barleston, but then we saw this little mooring next to a field of alpacas, and we were like, let's stop there.
Yeah.
And the alpacas immediately went into eat.
Into a little shed there to eat. Yeah. And it's kind of funny because we are just beside, like, basically to our sort of 45-degree over there is the Wedgwood factory.
Yeah.
And we are immediately beside where Joe was accosted by a pair of swans last time.
Yeah, I was walking up this towpath towards that lock that we've just come down, and the swans were like guarding their babies, and they wouldn't let me pass. They were really aggressive, so I had to walk miles and miles round. And then we left the lock, and Michael was like, I wonder where the swans are. And I was like, I was quite traumatised still.
I know. You were like, oh my God, it's here. This is where it is. Yeah. Well, luckily, no swans. Well, there actually were swans. They were above the lock up at the turning point. So it's quite possible that was them.
No. Yeah, so we came down the lock and I forgot that there was swans.
Yep, good. The sun's just peeked out in a...
Yeah, as we were saying.
Minor technical difficulty due to sun arrival. Just came up over a tree and basically was just like, that's it, the entire front of the boat is white. Can't see a thing. Yeah, so we came down the lock. It was, what was it? That was our 6th lock today.
Yeah. And we've hardly seen boats. Like, when we've been in convoy, there's been a boat in front of us and a boat behind us, but we haven't seen boats coming the other way. And then we got to the lock and there was 3 in a row. So I guess they're all travelling together. That's really funny. One of the women was very assertive. She was on the last boat, but the middle boat, there was a hire boat and they were just chatting on the boat, and she felt that they should be all helping with the lock, so she told them in a very assertive way, and they jumped to it.
Yeah.
But they said to me, what do you want me to do? And I was like, it's nothing to do with me.
And she was just telling them, you get on there and you help out. And I'm like,
she wasn't saying that. She was like, don't you know how it works? You've got to help out. And I'm like, we don't have to. Like,
I find this
it's
funny,
nice if you do.
because mere minutes before, as I'd come into the lock, there had been a boat coming up and the water was down, so it was like, okay, we'll let them in. And they were a hire boat, brand new. This was the first lock they were getting into, so they really had no idea what was going on. And the guy was like, is it our turn to come in? I'm like, yeah, that's why the locks are open. Okay, so he comes in and he runs down to get the boat, brings it in, and I guess his wife and daughter come up and were standing there as he came in, and I was just like, oh, well, I'll do this one if you want to go up and do the other one.
I just think, like, helping out with other boats is not compulsory. It's really nice, and I think you should do it, but I don't think you have to do it if you don't feel like it. No. And I think if you're working with someone else in a lock, you should say, oh, I can do this if you want to do that, which is what you said. But I don't think you should say, I'll do this, you do that.
Yes. But I got called out as if I'd said that.
But no, well, it's just because a lot of men boss me about when it's my boat going through the lock. It really pisses me off.
So you were like, Michael, don't do that. And I was like, oh, I didn't.
Like, I'm grateful for the help and, like, absolutely. But if it's my boat in the lock, don't tell me what to do.
And I didn't. No, it's been a lovely day, really good weather.
Yeah, it's been nice being out in the sunshine.
Yeah, I mean, we've got this kind of break. Basically, there's been a significant rainstorm the last few days, and then there's like a break for 2 days, and then it's scheduled for another very significant rainstorm. So I'm not sure. I think we're basically just going to push down to Stone tomorrow.
Yeah, I'd like to go to Stone tomorrow.
Yeah, and then we're going to be talking to them hopefully about, that's where we're going to try and schedule it to be there around 11 tomorrow, so we can ask them about the possibility of getting our engine looked at. We've developed a bunch of extra smoke.
Yeah, it might not work out. They might not have any slots. They might not want to do the job. I was
thinking about it today. The smoke may simply be the oil that is officially supposed to be for our engine is not what I've been buying because it's not been available.
Right.
So I've gone to a lighter weight oil.
But anyway, we should just speak to them.
Yeah. Because one way or another we need to find out.
Yeah, like it does, like our engine at some point does need a lot of work. Not a lot of work.
It needs care.
It needs some care, but more than just the servicing that you've been doing. Especially like with the wash coming up next year. Like our engine...
And just with its age.
Our engine's never let us down, like, and you think what we've done with it.
Yeah. Well, we've put a couple of thousand of hours on it. And while I have been doing some of the basic servicing and everything, it hasn't really had, like... as far as I can tell, in its entire life, it's never had like a strong service.
No, and if we do end up pulling the engine out, then we've obviously got to take the opportunity to paint the bilge below it, because it's not in a bad state. But anyway, if we don't do it here, we'll
find somewhere else.
Hopefully before spring.
Yeah, but ideally I'd like to get it looked at now, because as soon as we pass the top lock, number 30 I believe, the top of the flight into Stone itself, that's it. We're past any stoppages that will cause us problems.
Till December. We didn't check January.
No, we didn't check January, but at least till December 31st. That's it. We're done. No more stoppages to worry about.
Well, we haven't really decided exactly where we're going. The options are like literally anywhere, because we don't really need to be at the Fox Dyke until...
I am not going back to York.
we don't really need to be at the Fox Dyke until next year, like February time, really. So the option, we could go up the Shropshire Union, which I'd kind of like to do. But the other option is to go to Birmingham and revisit the silver propeller locations that we missed a year and a half ago.
Mm-hmm. Which is kind of what I'm voting for.
Yeah, I'd like to tick them off. I don't know how long it'll take us. I don't necessarily want to spend a lot of time there, because we spent a lot of time there before.
Yeah, so we'll figure it out. By the time you see this...
we'll probably be on the wash, so far behind.
Yeah. That's true. There are a lot of videos behind right now.
I met a viewer just at the Stoke locks, and he was like, "Are you on the Leeds and Liverpool Canal?" I was like, yeah.
We are! Virtually. Yes. Yeah. No. I mean, this is the one thing that I am kind of hoping for, is that we get a bit of opportunity to catch up. And now that we're, as of tomorrow, once we pass that last sort of stoppage that's really in our way, there is a very long route available to us that means we can get where we need to go without too much trouble.
And we're back on like old ground. Like, we've been up here, we've been down here and up here, so we've done this twice before, haven't we?
Yeah.
And it doesn't feel too bad. Like, it feels quite nice. It feels like familiar in a nice way.
Well, I think it's familiar, and it's been long enough that it's not redoubling something that was really
we've done like a week ago.
Yeah, so there's definitely a sense of like, I'm not discovering new, but it's a little changed here and there. Some of the territory we're crossing, we crossed at a different time of year. Yeah,
and that's the most enjoyable those Stoke lots have been. I don't know why I didn't enjoy them before, but even though I was in a real grumpy mood today, I actually quite enjoyed doing them.
Yeah, I remember them last time being just hot.
Yeah.
So maybe it was just, today was a fairly bright and cheerful day, but not warm at all. It was, it was pleasant. So.
Perfect freezing weather. Anyway, I'm going to go and get the fire going.
I'm going to toss a ball for George.
And then what are we doing this afternoon? I should probably edit.
You should probably edit, but apparently, from what I heard, we're going to be looking for and watching a historical drama. We've
been watching Mr. Robot the last week, and it's very, very good. Very good, but it hurts your brain. And
it is not a historical drama.
And I want a little antidote to that, so...
Yes, so romance and funny people in funny coats.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see. Probably ends up watching The Boys, which is the other thing you want to watch.
That's people in funny coats too.
Yeah.
Right, so thanks for watching.
Also very good.
Yes, well, yeah, it is good, actually. So thanks for watching. Is that it?
Yeah.
Okay, so thanks for watching. Give us a thumbs up, comment down below, subscribe if you haven't already, subscribe to Minimalist Maximal Velocity if you want to get our time lapses, and ring that bell for those notification things if those are still working.
You can stop saying that.
I can stop saying that?
You can do like a different outro if you want.
I like doing the ring and the bell sound. It's taken me this long to learn this one. If I change it... It's strange. The woman and the man who were coming along on their bikes, I'm sure she was talking to him, but she was looking at me as she said, "Have you been to the craft fair up ahead?" I'm like, "No." What? I don't understand. Afternoon.
We've stopped outside. We've stopped.
George is chewing on his...
It probably doesn't even come up on the microphone.
No, but George is chewing on his ball and he's going...
Oh, this sneeze now.
Yeah. Oh, good. Excellent. My shoulder is dry.
I missed your shoulder.
This time.
I never sneeze. George sneezes in your face, I don't.
That's true. George does sneeze in my face. Disturbing. When he coughs, that's the worst though. It's not so much when he sneezes. Right, so we've made it down to well, apparently there's some dust in the air. We made it to not far.
Start again.
Yeah, it's just going to be bad. It's going to be me fumbling all the time again.
Alright, let's go.
Alright, let's go. Whoop, what's that? Hello, buggy. Hello. Oh, it's a little spider. I have a little tiny spider. Hello, little tiny spider. Put you on the boat. Excellent. Whoop, whoop. I pin you all over the place. Sorry. Sorry.